Glaciers are massive, slow-moving rivers of ice that form in areas where snowfall exceeds melting over many years. Composed of compacted layers of snow, they flow gradually under their own weight, reshaping the land beneath them. Through erosion and deposition, found mainly in polar regions and high mountains, glaciers store about 70% of the world's fresh water. As they advance and retreat, they carve out valleys, create fjords, and transport rocks and sediments across great distances. Formation of glaciers. The formation and movement of glaciers are part of a fascinating natural process that shapes our planet's surface. Glaciers begin to form in regions where the accumulation of snow each winter exceeds the amount that melts during summer. Over time, layer upon layer of snow compacts under its own weight, transforming into dense, crystalline ice. This process can take decades or even centuries, creating a massive frozen reservoir. Once the glacier grows thick enough, gravity causes it to slowly flow downhill, much like a very slow-moving river. This movement, known as glacial flow, allows the glacier to carve valleys, polish rocks, and transport debris along its path. As the glacier descends into warmer, lower elevation regions, it begins to lose mass through melting and breaking apart, a process known as ablation. Ablation includes melting, sublimation, and calving, where chunks of ice break off to form icebergs. The balance between accumulation and ablation determines whether a glacier advances, remains stable, or retreats. In recent decades, rising global temperatures have disrupted this balance, causing many glaciers around the world to shrink at alarming rates. Understanding this delicate cycle helps scientists monitor climate change and its profound impact on Earth's natural systems and water resources. Impacts of glacial melting. Rising sea levels. One of the most significant impacts of glacial melting is the rise in global sea levels. As glaciers and ice sheets melt, the water once stored as ice flows into the oceans, causing them to expand. This increase in sea level threatens coastal communities, leading to flooding, erosion, and the loss of vital habitats, such as wetlands and mangroves. Low-lying countries and island nations face the highest risks, with millions of people potentially displaced. Additionally, higher sea levels increase the intensity of storm surges and coastal flooding, posing serious challenges for urban infrastructure and global food security. Disruption of freshwater resources. Glaciers act as natural freshwater reservoirs, slowly releasing melted water that sustains rivers, lakes, and ecosystems, especially during dry seasons. However, as glaciers retreat rapidly, many regions that depend on them, such as South Asia and parts of South America, face a growing water crisis. Initially, accelerated melting increases river flow, but once glaciers shrink beyond recovery, water supplies drastically decrease. This threatens agriculture, hydropower generation, and drinking water availability for millions of people. The imbalance in freshwater flow also affects aquatic ecosystems, leading to habitat loss and declining biodiversity in once stable mountain river systems. Climate feedback loops. Glacial melting contributes to dangerous climate feedback loops that accelerate global warming. When ice melts, it exposes darker land or ocean surfaces that absorb more sunlight instead of reflecting it, a phenomenon known as the albedo effect. This increased absorption of heat further warms the Earth, causing even more ice to melt. Additionally, melting permafrost releases trapped greenhouse gases, like methane and carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. These gases intensify the greenhouse effect, leading to further temperature rises. Such self-reinforcing cycles make it increasingly difficult to reverse climate change, amplifying its global and long-term impacts. Ecosystem and biodiversity loss. The melting of glaciers profoundly disrupts ecosystems that rely on stable cold environments, alpine and polar species, such as snow leopards, polar bears, and certain cold water fish, face shrinking habitats and food shortages. Changes in glacial melt patterns also alter river temperatures and nutrient levels, threatening freshwater biodiversity. Coastal ecosystems, including coral reefs and mangroves, are affected by rising sea levels and increased ocean acidity from excess carbon dioxide. Furthermore, Human communities dependent on these ecosystems for fishing, farming, and tourism face economic and social hardships. Glacial melting thus endangers both natural and human systems worldwide. Causes of glacial melting. The primary cause of glacial melting is global warming, driven by human-induced climate change. The burning of fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and natural gas releases large amounts of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat, raising Earth's average temperature and accelerating the melting of glaciers worldwide. As temperatures rise, snow and ice fail to accumulate at the same rate. They melt, leading to a gradual retreat of glaciers. Industrialization, deforestation, and increased energy consumption further intensify this warming effect, creating a feedback loop that speeds up ice loss. Another major factor contributing to glacial melting is the deposition of black carbon, tiny soot particles produced by burning biomass, diesel, and coal. When these particles settle on glacier surfaces, they darken the ice, reducing its ability to reflect sunlight. This process, called the albedo effect, causes glaciers to absorb more heat and melt faster. Additionally, air pollution, volcanic activity, and shifts in oceanic or atmospheric patterns, like El Niño, alter regional temperatures and precipitation. These natural and human influences together disrupt the delicate balance of glacier formation and melting, causing rapid ice loss in many mountain regions. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay inspired and keep going forward.